Imagine if you had Elon Musk, the world's #1 entrepreneur, as your business coach, looking over your shoulder, telling you exactly what to do at all times. While this is not possible, I've discovered the next best thing. I've learned how to train AI on Elon's brain, and now I use that AI framework to coach me every single day, and the results are mind-blowing. I originally learned about this framework on a group coaching call with Alex Hormozy, who also uses this framework and swears by it. Now, this framework has existed for a long time, but it's been hard to actually apply on your own. But now that we have AI tools, we can actually train AI on different frameworks and then use AI to coach us through those same processes. And honestly, AI does this better than a lot of business coaches I know. I think that business and life coaches are really going to have to evolve in order to stay competitive, because as it stands right now, this AI framework that I'm going to show you in this video has done a better job as my business coach than most of the real human coaches I've hired. So I'm going to show you how to train AI on Elon's framework. I'm going to give you the exact prompt to use, and then I will send you off to the races so you can identify the most important activities to do more of in your business, what to delete, what to automate and delegate. It works like magic. But I am going to give you one word of warning, is that you're going to get called out on your shit. AI is going to press you and ask these pointed, challenging questions, and you may have to tell it that you haven't done that because you are scared or because you have imposter syndrome or whatever. I do that all the time. And even with that type of stuff, AI can help you work through it by asking you questions to often help you see that you are credible, you are worthy, you're not an imposter. It can work you through both the tactical and the emotional blocks that are keeping you from growing your business. And sometimes it's actually easier to share your secret stuff with a piece of software than it is with a real person. Before I show you the prompt and how to use it, it's worth taking some time to understand how Elon Musk thinks. The real power in this is when you use it, you will actually start to think like Elon, who is known for making some of the best business decisions. And if you can learn to think like him when you make your decisions, real transformation will start to happen. So the foundation of Elon's decision-making framework is called first principles thinking. And that is when you take a broad question like, oh, I need to get more clients, and you break it down into its raw fundamental parts where you actually say, well, what is a client? What is the purpose of getting clients? And you go really deep to figure out the real issue at hand, because there's all these like sub problems underneath this main problem that are actually the real thing that is the limiter in your business. Now, an example from Elon's own work of first principles thinking is actually when he started to build rockets. Now, most people just assumed that rockets are really expensive, and this is a big restriction. But Elon actually asked, why are rockets expensive? What are the raw materials that make up a rocket? Okay, it's aluminum and titanium. Well, where do these materials come from and why do they cost so much? And Elon went so far into that he was able to source these materials himself and dramatically decrease the cost of building a rocket. And you might be surprised, why didn't anyone else think of that? For some reason, there's a lot of things that we just assume are true and we don't question them any further. Even in an industry like building rockets, where it's massively funded, you think somebody would have found a way to do it more optimally. They hadn't yet because they had simply not been asking the right questions. And then after that, Elon Musk did this again with Tesla, because batteries cost a lot to produce and they're just not as efficient as a diesel motor. At least that's the conventional way of thinking about it. But when Elon actually asked why and what materials make up a battery and where do those materials come from and why do they cost so much, what is the process of mining them, can we do better, He actually was able to go right to the source, get his own materials to build batteries, also to make them a lot more efficient than they had ever been. So the end result was batteries that cost less and they were more efficient. And this all came from him simply asking better questions about the problem. A second big benefit that this framework will give you when you use it is task elimination. 90% of the stuff that most entrepreneurs are working on will make little or no difference in their business. And that is so insane, but it goes on every single day. We have to get rid of that. We have to nip that in the bud. And so when we identify the 10% of tasks that are actually moving us towards our goals, it becomes so much easier to optimize the machine. You get to delete 90% of what you're doing, and you could either do nothing and just meditate and recover, or you could funnel that extra energy and time into doing more of the 10%. And so task elimination leads to the next natural benefit, which is resource optimization. If you see this plant I have back here, it's called a fiddle leaf fig, and I want this plant to grow thick trunks. I don't want it to keep growing up. I want it to actually have thick trunks and be more of a sturdy looking plant. In order to do that, I had to learn how to prune it. There's ways to remove certain leaves, to pinch leaves off the top, maybe cut some of the smaller stems at the base. And you can see it's starting to look a little better. It still needs some work. When you prune a plant, like if you pinch the new baby leaves off the top of a plant, it works for succulents and things like that too. It redirects energy back to the trunk, back to the base. And that is exactly what happens when you identify the stuff that's not making a difference in your business. Is you're pruning the tree or the plant that is your business. And so you can redirect energy to the trunk, to the roots, to the foundation, to the things that really are going to help you build that strong, lasting business that you want. The third benefit of applying this framework that I'm going to share with you is simply speed. Now, I like to watch Shark Tank. They always talk about how speed is the ultimate competitive advantage in business. Like, you have to go to market fast and beat your competitors. If you can make in 1 month what it takes somebody 12 months to make, then you're 12 times more efficient than they are, and you can scale and reinvest and grow even faster. So you really can't afford to just sit around for years and years without things really taking off. And so this decision-making framework that you can use through AI will help you identify the absolute shortcut to your goals. Like, instead of going this long, windy route, what if we just went boop, right to the heart of what you want? You'll be blown away when you try it. Trust me. And the fourth and last benefit that I will touch upon is automation detection. So that is when the framework will detect the things that can be automated or delegated. We already talked about eliminate, but what about the things you need to keep, but are able to be handed off to either technology or a person? Those are the things that are still like getting in your way of optimizing your own time and efforts in your business. I mean, imagine the power here when all of these things are clicking. It's just an insane difference than how most entrepreneurs approach business. And now I hope you can start to see why Elon just seems to have the magic touch. It's because he thinks differently about how to enter a market and develop a product, optimize the crap out of every single step and every single action that he takes. So when he touches something, it just goes boom. One of the questions that AI spit out to me when I uploaded this framework and we were talking through my business is it said, where are your best clients coming from right now? And I had never taken the time to think about that, which is silly. I was like, well, they're all coming either from my book or my YouTube channel. But I had previously told it that I was posting on Threads and TikTok and all these other places. And it was like, you can delete those activities because they are not actually doing anything for your business. So imagine the culling process that takes place, just forgetting about certain types of content and just reinvesting into YouTube. I mean, that is a perfect example of pruning the tree so the trunks can grow. Now, 2 final tips before I share how to actually use this framework. The first one is just expect this to call you out on your shit. Like, it's going to ask you all these questions, answer them. Like, answer almost every question it shoots back at you if you can. Then that will feed into its decision-making process. And then the next questions will be informed. You'll be blown away by just how quickly it strikes at the heart of what's really going on and what you need to do. And then the second thing is just don't be afraid to tell it the real reason that you're stuck, which is often an emotional one. Like, I told it that I didn't really feel qualified to reach out to someone who was making 7 or 8 figures and ask if I could help them. I wasn't sure if I had enough case studies of that level of client. And then I was also wondering if maybe like they already knew so much that I couldn't help them. If you tell it those things, it will ask you challenging questions back. And in my example, we actually worked through that, and I was able to see that I was in fact credible and worthy of reaching out to those people. All right, the 2 steps to actually doing this. Step 1 is click on the link found in the description to make a copy of the Google Doc where I have Elon Musk's decision-making process stored as a prompt for AI. 2, paste it into AI, either use Claude or ChatGPT, share with it the actual goal that you want to achieve. Tell it exactly what you do. Like I told it, I help experts publish books to get more customers for their business. I currently get my clients from these platforms. I want to get a publishing deal. I want to grow a personal brand. I want to get X amount of clients per month. Here's the things I'm working on. Here's what I believe. Help me work through this decision-making framework to optimize what I am doing. It was just something like that. Like, it doesn't have to be word for word. Then hit enter. Like I said, it's going to spit out a bunch of questions. Answer them all to the best of your ability. I think you're going to be blown away. Please come back to the comments and let me know what this experience was like for you. It shouldn't take you too long to try it out. Thank you so much for watching this, and I'll see you in the next one.